on the Coal Tower. Another beautiful corrupt for the books here. And if it is necessary, I might just have to bring your audio in through a different means if we can't get us up in the meantime. But with that said, Nurse looking around inside the Coal Tower, trying to find their first survivor. Not seeing anybody here just yet. Survivors have managed to fully stealth out. I didn't even see scratch marks here. And looking around, they do find somebody at the shack here, so they are going to be around 6 o'clock, running towards the back. Claudette holding W, it would seems, or hugging this corner, cannot tell. Looks like they have completely dodged the Nurse here. Claudette doing a little bit of a disappearing act. We see another survivor, however. I think that is the Ace. Yeah, the Ace is going to get pallets done here. Dropping the firecracker, trying to get as much distance here, but Ace will be chased into the corner. Getting boxed in here and have to make their way around. Do they have balanced landing? I don't think so. Maybe alive. Oh, they have the overcome lucky break. And we hear footsteps to the back. They are getting some distance, but I think the Nurse is hot on their trail here.
All right, let's try this and hope that
I hear you. I see you. Welcome back, Guildspire.
Thank you. You know, just your casual tech issues and DBD, the entity saying maybe it's not for me to cast this, but we are back and better than ever. And looks like Survivors will complete a gen as Nurse does make a speedy approach to the hook. And they're looking like an agitation. Not sure if you mentioned that already, but Nurse not looking to track down Survivor off that gen. Instead, looking around, seeing if they could potentially force Survivors off gens near this hook. And I think they're looking to maybe camp out to second stage.
Would be the most ideal spot is, again, agitation. Getting that central hook here is pretty pivotal. And worth noting is that we also see the Dying Light. This is the third time I've seen Dying Light. And I'm wondering if it's like this kind of off-meta pick, since Thrilling Tremors has been the other, like, 4th perk slot normally for the Nurse. But we'll have to see. I'm kind of curious how this is going to work out for them, as Dying Light, I've usually seen Survivors get out against Dying Light.
Yeah, I mean, Dying Light's really interesting in the sense that, like, is it a better Thanatophobia at this point? It's debatable. It kind of suffers from the same issue that I have with Thanatophobia, that you really aren't going to be able to get as much value as you would like when the, you know, when the survivor or the obsession dies. Yep. Thanatophobia very much the same way, and so I don't know if it's going to be very useful. Right now, it's slowing things down by 3%. So, you know, with that being said, it is definitely doing some work as we do see Ace progress to second stage. It looks like Nurse will be dropping their hook, and looks like they picked wrong on that generator.
It is, and yeah, we see Ada coming in for the unhook here. And that's the other thing. If you're camping a survivor to second stage, you're not getting that extra stack of Dying Light, so 3% on 2 separate survivors is somehow... I'm curious for the calculations these killers are making here. Is Ace obviously gonna get 10 on 2 gens popping in the meantime, however, down to 2 gens left. Ace hugging the corner. They will go down at the rock unless there is a decisive strike. This will be lights out. Dying lights out for the Ace.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I'm not sure if the unhook was the right move there, as Nurse was pretty nearby. It could have given these survivors an additional, like, 30 seconds or so on generators. Having 3 survivors on gens around time may have actually been enough to potentially get a 2, if not 3-man out here. But we'll have to wait and see if the survivors are able to rally back now in a 3v1 scenario.
Indeed, as again, now these survivors are 6% slowdown as the Obsession Nancy is still alive. So, curious, do you throw your Obsession, once you know Dying Light's the way to play, do you throw the Obsession at the killer so they don't get hook value? Or do you try and make sure that Survivor's the one doing things because they don't have the 6% slowdown?
I mean, I think it really depends on a few different factors. You know, who has For the People? Is it a person who's already Obsession? Which is actually, I don't think that's possible. I think For the People lessens your chances of becoming the Obsession. So I think that's where it gets into an interesting conversation of, well, maybe we throw the For the People player, or maybe ensure that For the People is used immediately off of the first unhook. So there's a lot of things to kind of keep in mind of kind of moving that Obsession around and forcing the Nurse to make some unfortunate choices. It's possible that Ace may have been the For the People player and was not able to utilize that, as we did not see a For the People off of the hook. Not to mention Nurse with a very quick BT hit, but Aiden now in Jace trying to do some locker tech there, losing a lot of distance, and that's going to be a 2-tap.
Indeed. They had a little bit of a good distance initially, but yeah. Also worth noting, I think that was a sprint burst. This was the survivor get the unhook. And the question now is, was that a safe unhook? I don't know. I think Ace did a good job with Lucky Break getting distance, but no, it wasn't enough. That is a safe unhook, and that's gonna be another 4th generator going down as well. Survivor's able to finish this before Nurse getting over here to pop the gen. This is gonna be really close, and Nancy is the one they found. So three stacks of Dying Light. Nancy's currently in chase, and we haven't seen Claudette at all. And that was not the quickest 4th gen. They might be about to finish 5.
Yeah, it's definitely not outside the realm possibility. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like this gen has a little bit of progress, but not enough, especially as we do see a 30% regression on the current progression from Pop Goes the Weasel.
Absolutely. Again, is it just me, or has Pop become a staple in comp like overnight since the buff from 20% to 30%? It has been so popular, especially like on Nurse. It's just been, thrilling, agi, corrupt Pop has been the thing. Dying Light, a bit of a spicy pick here. I'm beginning to wonder if it might actually start paying off with these stacks adding up. That's 9% slowdown on the non-obsession survivors. If they can just keep Nancy at bay, that's some good slowdown.
I mean, that is the question, right? Is keeping Nancy away from gens, keeping Nancy away from healing. You also have to keep in mind that one thing that does get overlooked quite often is the fact that Dying Light does give your obsession, a 25 or 33% increase in heal speed as well. So, like, there is a significant downside to running Dying Light.
That is true, especially, but this Ada out of position, potentially. I think they're gonna pop the 4th gen or the 5th gen for this. I don't think you take a pick unless that was the case.
Yeah, I think Ada making a very strategic play here, forcing the Nurse to pick out that locker, either then forcing the drop. But Nurse's adaptation is going to be moving pretty quick to the other side of the map, and I imagine they're going to be jumping over towards that gen. They see some progress here, but the question is, will this gen be completed in time?
Very good question, and it looks like with doubling up, I don't think they finished. No, they do! They do finish it, and both servers are here. No endgame perks available, and the second stage hook music is just so unsettling. Hello, Claudette.
Yeah, the audio bug for Nurse or chase bug for Nurse just continues to persist, but looks like they are going to go and chase with Claudette here. That will give the Nancy enough time to get the unhook on the Ada. I imagine we're going to see that 33% heal increase come into play, but no, we saw Ada dive across the screen there, which means Nancy and Ada have since split, and it looks like they are trying to go for the X-Gate.
Oh my goodness, that was such a beautifully timed blink there, and with both these servers slide out, you have to hook Ada because she's the deli player with Unbreakable, but she's Death Hook. With Agi, she might be able to get back over and stop the Claudette from getting picked up, and the Exegate potentially. Is this like the biggest agitation value right here?
I mean, agitation is good for a reason. We're definitely seeing it used a lot more, especially on Nurse, whose, bans are pretty significant as far as their perks are concerned. But yeah, looks like Claudette probably going to stay slugged out on the ground. No sign of the Nancy. Nurse convinced that they are nearby, though, and trying to get a read on that X-Gate, but no lights being lit so far.
And worth noting is you can't really afford for Claudette just to like bleed out. Yeah, they will go for the hook here. We'll have to see if Nancy is going to pop their head out, try and get an Exegate open. Nancy will be a fresh out potentially if they are able to secure it. Nurse looking around but not seeing anything. I don't think the Nurse has some options here.
I do too. I don't think the Nurse actually got a good line of sight though on that Exegate, and that might play right into what the survivors need right now. If the Nancy is by some means just kind of getting a little bit of progress at a time on that Exegate, that would be absolutely huge here, as they might be able to get the...
They got the unhook.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw Survivor back at Shack, but I wasn't sure, and it looks like that is the case. Nancy going towards the Exegate and Claudette running away. Survivors have the split they need now. I don't know if leaving the hook was the right play there. I think it was camping, maybe.
I think they were concerned about the same thing that I was wondering about since they didn't get that line of sight. They were concerned that there's a lot of progress on that Exegate and it wasn't shown yet. But now if Nancy and Chasers will give a health state for the survivors to use their advantage. Now, mind you, Nancy will be the most points if she is able to get out. However, even getting clawed out here would be huge for the survivor team.
Absolutely, and it looks like that might be the case. Yeah, Nancy not able to dodge long enough. Trying to see what Exegate would be open. I don't think Claudette would do the closest Exegate. Looks like they're going for the furthest one. That's what they're checking. We see, I think they got the lights all on. Yeah, the lights are on. Now the question is, where's Claudette?
Yep, and I think the Nurse is thinking about the same thing I was just of. You can't go towards that Exegate. It is already 99. You know full well that the Nancy's crawling towards her hatches right now. You have to go back, go for the pickup, and or close the hatch itself. But looks like this will be a 3K here for the nurse. Honestly, really good showing by the survivors. As we say all the time, when it comes to the S tiers, it's not about how many survivors you get out the exit gates, but how many gens you complete. And they got all 5 gens and then some.
They did, exactly, yeah. It's very rare to see stages leave against the S tiers, but again, these top teams, the survivors are just absolutely brutal and efficient, and that is exactly what we saw here. I do think Dying Light did get a little bit of value there, as if your game sense is on point, thrilling, maybe getting traded out for just a better slowdown might be the case here. Will Dying Light be the new meta for Nurse?
We said it time and time again. When it comes to S tiers, it is not about how many survivors get out the exit gate, but how many gens you complete. And so I definitely think it is possible here for Nightlight to be getting a 4K at 4 gens or less. Now, mind you, anything less than that will result in a win for Elysium, but they do get a 3K 10 hook that there will result in a tie, forcing a set 3.
And I've seen, I think it was Eternum versus, I think it was actually Eternum versus Eternal. The first set was a tie. And so that was really weird, but also maybe not as weird as this corrupt intervention. It's both sides of the Coal Tower except Coal Tower itself, and then it's Shack Gen.
Yeah, really weird split on that corrupt, to say the least, but even more impressive the fact that these survivors have yet to be found. We're about a third of the way through corrupt intervention right now, and they're struggling to find a single survivor.
I will say, I think I saw someone back at the shack, but obviously you really don't want to chase theirs. Yeah, survivors are wanting to make their way to this Coal Tower gen and get it out of the way. Looks like Nancy's going to preemptively drop here, and yeah, they will get back towards this tile. There's 2 survivors over here. We see multiple scratch marks here. Nurse blinking just into the corner of the L wall. Nancy will be able to get edge map very easily here. Now the question is, yeah, Nurse will pursue this. Past the rock, doubling back, and they do get attacked around the corner. Nancy running desperately back into the 8 o'clock area here, and we'll have to see if they break line of sight. That is not lucky break.
Yeah, it is not, and maybe not a lucky find here for the survivors, as Nurse gonna be hot on her trail. Nancy trying to keep on edge map, and as I said before and said again, the best place you can have a Nurse chase you is on the edge of the map, because it really does limit the Nurse's mobility, but Nightlight not being deterred by that will end up getting down here on Nancy, and this here will be the first hook of this match.
Indeed, and as that Agi comes into play, we see them going for this central hook. Obviously, no body blocks. We see some gens coming in. Actually, are they body blocking? Caster's Curse. Do they actually get this?
That is definitely unusual.
Whoa.
And yeah, there it is. They actually do get the drop here. That is quite surprising to see that happen in real time. Nancy going down not too long after. The question is, was that worth it in the long run, and the reasoning behind that choice? I'm wondering if Nancy here may be the Deliverance player.
Possible, or maybe they didn't want an early hook next to these generators, but I don't think it's going to matter, as Nurse will get their central hook, and they will find the ace immediately afterwards. Worth noting is there is Dying Light, so they did pick a similar build here, and Claudette is the survivor that is the obsession, but now you've got a horrible situation.
Yeah, we saw with the Ada in the last trial. We're seeing it again here with the Claudette almost going down to the Nurse there off that locker tech. We do see Blast Mine there from the survivors, as the Nurse does attempt to kick the gen, and looks like she will be going back to the hook. But no, going to go for the quick kick. That is going to be Coffin Weasel, 30% off the progression of that gen, and Ace will go for that 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I'm curious if you might be right, if this is the Deli player after all. They were just... I can't tell if it was Deli prevention or if it was trying to make sure that the gens get finished, but regardless, Nancy going to be running back into the 8 o'clock, going into 9 o'clock now as they get past a tile. Can they break light on the side long enough? Again, Nurse hot on their trail. They do get the pickup on the ace. Nancy going back to the edge map, and they are going to have a rock here. Is it going to be second blink? No, they're going to hold it, and they're going to be chasing. I think this is the blink here that's going to end Nancy potentially. Yeah. Just not much you can do. Nurse just so nasty.
Yeah, no, Nancy once again doing a really good job working the edge map. We do see another gen popping up for the survivors. 3 left to go before they can attempt an escape via the exit gate. And it looks like they're going for the central hook again. This is going to be a very aggressive play, especially we see the Claudia come in for another body block.
Right, yeah, no body blocks coming in now. Second sec of Dying Light here. And that was an aggressive, even for an agitation, that was an aggressive play there. But they will get that central hook. Now finding the ace, and ace going to be going into the 11 o'clock, sorry, 1 o'clock here. They will duck around the side. This is not a good tile against Nurse, I found. There's no line of sight.
Yeah, that is a thing, but looks like Nurse will not care about that. Looks like a sprint burst from the Nancy off that unhook there. And looks like the Nurse will be hot on trail, trying to force a 3v1 scenario. If the survivors are going to be trying to get a escape here, they're going to need to pop a gen as soon as humanly possible.
Indeed. And she did go down under pallet. We do know survivors there. They don't care. They say you don't have it.
Here, I was about to say, I thought I heard some footsteps, but may have just been the fire barrel nearby. And looks like Nancy will be sent back to campfire via the entity.
And that is a third dying light stack as well. 9% slowdown on everyone but Claudette. And they will get a pop on the central gen as well. We haven't seen a third gen pop, and I imagine someone's probably going to pop it soon. As survivors have been spread out, we've only seen one. Claudette and Jake nowhere to be found. Nurse checking the edge here. Senses tingling. They find the ace after all. And now Ace running back into the one, but... oh, this is a dead zone. This is as dead a zone as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, Nurse saw the ace early on when they're carrying the Nancy to the hook, and just great game sense knowing full well that ace was going to remain over there in that tile. And looks like they will end up going down, and once again, going back towards that central hook, the Nurse's favorite place to be, and for good reason. I mean, it allows them to really maneuver around the map and still protect the hook and the gens alike.
Okay, do we need to start bringing, like, Oaks to the games here? Is that what I'm hearing? We need to start bringing Putrid Oak? I'm kidding.
I mean, it's a thought, but I don't think it'll do much on maps like Cold Tower.
No.
And it's one of those things where, you know, agitation has definitely been more and more looked at, especially as we're seeing it more and more on killers like the Nurse on Cold Tower. And so, you know, there's definitely discussion for looking at agitation going forward, but other than that, yeah, there is not much you can do outside of trying to complete those central gens early to avoid a situation like this.
Indeed, and I don't remember if Ace actually got a safe unhook yet. I think if these survivors don't have Deli, I don't know how they get out of this scenario without a 4K. This is pretty bleak here. The gens are absolutely what the Nurse wants. You've got one in the center, you've got two on either side of Cold Tower. You've got one in the, you know, the logs, but it doesn't matter. You just camp the survivor out. I don't know what you can do. This is going to be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just an unfortunate scenario that where we're seeing here based on Ace moving to second stage that we did see the Deli player be the first one found. So just really unfortunate scenario there. We do see that fourth gen popping off, but like you were saying, this 3 gen here just going to be pretty much impossible for the survivors to break into, especially as Ace here is just hanging, waiting for them to be sent back to campfire via the entity.
Indeed. I think your scenario now is there is an exit gate on Cold Tower side. You got two survivors that are technically fresh. You finished the fourth gen. There is a win con scenario where you get a survivor out the hatcher exit gate here, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, that is not outside the realm of possibility. It's definitely going to be a high ask for these survivors to make that work, though. But it's not impossible. It just comes down to whether or not the Nurse here is going to make any mistakes and play into the survivor's hands.
We'll have to see. Again, the play so far has been very precise. Good map knowledge. Again, like even good killer sense, finding the ace on the edge of the map, trying to rotate generators and getting them mid-chase. There is some progress on the hill gen, but considering that, yeah, you find the Claudette here, now it comes down to the endgame scenario. Do survivors have an endgame in mind? They're just going to go down under a pallet. They say, no. Yeah, they're going to go down under a pallet here. Interesting.
Yeah, I want to say that may have just been more or less bait, the Claudia trying to just get a stun on the Nurse there to extend things slightly, but looks like they will go down. No sign of the Nancy. Nurse checking every nook and cranny to be safe. And sorry, the Jake, not the Nancy. Nancy's been long gone back to the campfire.
Who's
and
Nancy?
Looks like Nurse is actually going to be leaving the survivor on the ground instead, looking around for Jake.
Oh my god! Perfect on top of Blink there. I don't know if they actually even saw him. It might have just been a lucky guess, but yeah. Jake coming back in, trying to get the pickup probably as Nurse was maybe going to go scout around Hatch, but finding them, just really perfect chance there. And yeah, with agitation, both these survivors will be dying here, and this will be the 4K. Unless there's, I guess there's a chance that maybe Nancy wasn't the Deli, but I don't know at this point.
I think it's pretty much clear-cut based on what we've seen and how these survivors have been playing. It's just one of those things that after you watch enough matches, you can kind of just tell. But yeah, no, just a really unfortunate blink there for the Jake, where Nurse was trying to go through the main building and ended up seeing them there just dead in the corner.
Yep.
And now all Nurse has to do is wait until both these survivors here have hit second stage, and at that point in time, that there will be a win for trial or set number 1 for Eternal.
Indeed. Again, we're seeing nothing but S tiers today, folks. It is not a good time to be a survivor. Let's put it that way. Yeah, these two will be hanging out for just a moment longer. I can't imagine there's Deli left. I don't even think Claudette got an unlock.
Even if there is, I guess the biggest question is, would it even matter? Gens has been reset. Both of them have been hooked at least once. Even if they were somehow to get the unhook and have them both up again, I don't think it would matter in the long run when it comes down to the final results.
Well, you wouldn't try and get the unhook. You just try and get that one star, yeah. But if it's yeah, that's entirely fair now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, and it doesn't matter anyway. Both fit second stage. It is confirmed 4K1 here for Eternal. And yeah, set number 1 has been spoken for. Going into set number 2, I believe we're going into a Blight Mirror on... No, it's a Spirit Mirror on Wreckers, right?
Yep, it is a Spirit Mirror match on the Wreckers Yard. We're going to be seeing Eternal Spirit killing against Elysium Survivor Team. And she was the Deliverance?
She was the Deli player.
Spirit. So I think it's definitely not a bad map for Spirit, though it's not what I would go with, like, oh yeah, this is Spirit's home.
That's fair enough. I can get down with that. I like Spirit on this map just because it's contained and being a 110 killer. You got your movement speed ability, but you don't want to be running from point A to point B on this map, and Spirit not going to have to as they find the gate immediately. Looks like that is a sprint burst, taking them into the central tile. They will pre-drop this as they so should. This Spirit is armed and dangerous. Get out of here, Kate. What are you doing?
Yeah, and that sprint burst also tells us something. As we said time and time again, sprint burst usually a telltale sign of the Deliverance player. The Spirit will drop chase. Looks like they will be going for the Ada, and looks like Ada did bamboozle them just a little bit, but not enough to avoid the hit. Not quite enough, and that is a sloppy butcher as that Ada is bleeding everywhere, all over the place, and running back into the... this is the 6, right? This is 6? I do believe this is 6, and that is a dead zone of dead zones. Ada going down. I imagine hoping that the survivors who have been on gens will complete 1, if not 2, in the meanwhile. No agitation this time around, so right now they only know of 2 perks, Sloppy Butcher and, of course, Corrupt Intervention. Corrupt Intervention, the perk that's gone too soon, and especially with Nick Cage coming out with No Mither plot twist, it is going away a lot faster, too. Thank goodness No Mither's banned. I both love and hate that exists, but it is such a funny concept to me. But we do see a very quick unhook here, potentially to the detriment of these survivors. We do see Kate trying to get the heal in, but with Sloppy Butcher just not able to make it happen. Ada trying to avoid getting re-downed here, and looks like Spirit will phase walk there. Ada getting to the pallet, but will it matter? Yeah, Kate is doing the best they can to try and take distraction here, and vaulting back over the top. Ada actually doing a really good job getting some distance here, and they will be able to get back into main, but there's no Shack pallet left. Doubling back in the Spirit season, and that is going to be second down here. Will there be a decisive strike? First generator just now popping as well. There is! Look at him go. Honestly, was not expecting a decisive, but it does come out in the best of times, and looks like Ada does... I was gonna say vault, but that wasn't the Ada. That was quite surprising, not gonna lie. Maybe a strategic decision there by the survivors to kind of bait and subvert the Spirit's expectations. I was seeing the Kate here trying to take the body block again, but unfortunately losing out on that 50-50 there, trying to go for the CJ tech! I mean, you'd never expect it. You might as well try, right? Nobody expects a CJ. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just like, wait a second, are they actually trying to make this work? And sure enough, they attempted. It did not pay out for them, as we do see the survivor moving back down into the basement. Unfortunate spot. And I think actually okay, so backtracking just slightly, I think Shiva was actually just trying to make as much noise so they couldn't hear the Ada anywhere. Because, you know, Ada's already kind of silent. But if you got good headphones, it makes up for it a little bit. But, Pop Goes Weasel, that is the 3rd perk. Okay. Yep, that is in fact the Pop Goes Weasel, regressing that gen by 30% of its current progression, and we do see another kick on that gen there, just a normal 2.5% regression in addition to 0.3% per second thereafter.
So worth also noting, oh, we do see scratch mark. I'm sorry, not scratch marks. Footsteps going away. That will get tagged on the ace. There's a really close 3-gen string around main. If you look over there, yeah, to the left and to the right, that's a really close 3-gen. We see scratch marks over by the one that was Pop Goes Weasel. We see scratch marks going into the basement. Spirit has their power left. They're going to save it and get a tag, I imagine, and then follow it up. I don't know if 8 is much longer for this world, folks. Body block.
Yeah, they're just going to body block at basement here, trying to keep him there. Shiva trying to get in front, and they do end up taking the hit there, extending the chase just a little bit, but now it's all 4 survivors currently injured. Sloppy Butcher getting a lot of value here, to say the least.
Absolutely. Sloppy absolutely doing work here. Ada running back. I think they're under the pallet, and they will go down. I think survivors are willing to take the down here, and we see Ace even around here baiting it, and I don't think you sacrifice the survivor. I think you just go for the kill.
Yeah, I think you are right. And sure enough, there is going to be the hook and a Pop the Weasel on this gen as well. A 3v1 scenario at 3 gens remaining. Definitely looking a little bit grim here for the survivors. We'll have to wait and see if they are able to rally back.
Indeed, especially with that popping so close on a gen that was almost completed. This is going to be really tough for the survivors to come back. They do finish the 3rd generator. There comes Firecracker trying to get some value, but I imagine we'll see a little bit of mind game here. And Ace... I actually have no idea where they went. Oh, crouching, yeah, crouching near the pallet there. Really good mind game, and now can a survivor rotate back and do the gen that Ace was on? They do a 4th gen. What is
Honestly,
going on here?
really good showing by the Ace being very patient. I think what they did the first time was they didn't even vault, they just crouched to kind of fake the slow vault there, and Spirit just being forced to wait for the power to re-up before being able to do much of anything. Now, mind you, these survivors have been working on these gens while injured, so I imagine it's not going to change, and now Spirit in a interesting position here. Do they protect the hook, or do they protect this potential last gen?
It's a good question. Oh, Shiva being interrupted there, but they will have to wait until the vault because they are a 110 killer. Now the question is, can they get disrupt? Yeah, Survivor is expected to come over here, and this gen has no progress on it, hardly. Not compared to what it was with another Pop Goes the Weasel. That is, I don't think you break this 3-gen now. Like, everybody spreads out, they try and reset. I think you just hug the edge of the map, go W, and maybe hoping to get a 5th gen here. I don't know how they finish it. That's such a tight 3-gen.
Yeah, it definitely is looking to be a little bit difficult here. We do see the Spirit moving off into 6 and trying to get the hit there on the Ace, but not going to happen. And actually, probably the best... There's definitely an Ace before, right? And now it's a Kate. I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy.
You know,
survivors just switch
wait
spots.
1 second.
It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they just magically teleport from one position to the other. Imagine a killer power that does that, where like you switch locations with another survivor. How disorienting that would be.
I don't know if that would... I don't know if I'd like that. Imagine you're working on a gen, all of a sudden you're in base, and you're like, what the heck is going on?
That would actually be really funny. But with that being said, Kate gonna be put on the hook for the first time. I don't think we've seen... I was about to say, I don't think we've seen Deli yet. And sure enough, there is Kate, in fact, with the deliverance. And that will give a little bit of pressure back into the survivor's hands. However, with the Shiva now being in chase, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to be able to do much of anything, especially around this 3-gen.
Absolutely. And I imagine as soon as you take a hit, you go back to the bus. Vaulting back over, do we see where they went? Yeah, they will get tagged here. And now the question is, where do you run? It doesn't matter. Spirit's not even going to commit to it. They know what's going on here. Middle gen has a lot of progress, though, and it looks like there's 2 survivors here as well, which means that Kate is somewhere nearby. These survivors did kind of reset, but now you're in a really rough scenario where everybody's going to be injured again. I don't know how you reset after that.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to say the least. It's definitely interesting with the Shiva slow vaulting into the locker to try and draw out that locker grab and commitment. But looks like Spirit is going to be going back and forth from this gen, trying to keep the Ace off it. They do find the Kate, though.
Yep.
And they will end up getting us down, and another Pop Goes the Weasel in hand.
Indeed. Survivors slowly... I mean, to be fair, they did actually work quite a bit of gen pressure there, but these chases just aren't lasting long enough. And it's hard to, right? Like, you're running out of resources. Spirit takes these chases very smart. And, I mean, it's Spirit. There's a reason she's S tier.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely not where she was in her heyday, but
True.
I mean, she still plays very well. And at the end of the day, Bubba doing a fantastic job piling her here in this trial. We do see Shiva just going to edge map, trying to get their either team as much time as possible. And
Ooh, well done there.
doing a good job as Spirit unable to get the down, being forced to drop chase, and looks like they will be going to one of these generators. And there it is, they get it!
No shot! They actually snuck over and got it in the meantime. That's going to be huge. We do see haste status effect. We know Noed is in play. No way out, but that means that... Which survivor do you hook? You only have 6 stages. Which survivor do you go for here?
Yeah, that is a tough question, to say the least. They do get the down on the Shiva. Looks like they are going to go for the pick here.
They're healing.
Why would they heal? Unless
maybe
they know where Noah is?
That is fresh hook on Shiva, though, so they are going to get the max points for that one. I'm wondering if it might be so they stealth out better. There's no grunts of pain, there's no nothing. It lets them stealth out, maybe try and... they might be trying to leave a lot of stages here. That might be the reason for it.
Maybe. I mean, Noah is right there near the hook. The Spirit is just not incentivized to leave this area. You are able to watch the hook. You're able to watch Noah. You're able to watch an exit gate. You don't have line of sight on that other one. I think, honestly, as a survivor, you cut your losses.
It also might be, they also might be waiting for that 30-second mark where it's a lot more open where Noah is. Maybe gauge where Noah is, and then try and make a play from there. As again, you know, Ada's got Shiva has 2 minutes on hook. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they will be going for the exit gate here. That's still a lot of stages out. That is a 9-stage 2K?
Yeah, honestly, a lot more stages than I was expecting.
I have no idea what I'm watching. Are they going to try and orchestrate a... There's no way. Well, I guess it... Yeah, but if she didn't go to 2nd stage, Kate's worth less than Shiva if you could get the unhook.
Yeah, it looks like they ended up cutting the losses in the end. But honestly, really good showing here by the survivors. I was not expecting that last gen to pop off when it did, but they were able to make it work and get a 2-man out for it.
Indeed. Really, really well done. And yeah, it looks like they were the one with the 4 of the people, so not able to get any sloppy value. Also, wait. 4 of the people unbreakable? That's not the deli?
Yeah, it looks like they switched it up a little bit there, and it ended up working out for them in the long run.
Indeed.
And those numbers seem vastly different, to say the least, but it's that one hook difference that goes a whole long way. And with that being said, Spirit for this season has an average of like 2.83 kills per match. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Spirit result here kind of falls in line as we see a very early hit on Kate.
I think they saw a snippet of Kate on the tires and faked away, but they did get the tag after all. That is Sloppy Butcher. They get hit through the... And this is central. Will this be a pallet stun or not? Yeah, they're ready for it.
Yeah, we saw the Infectious right there. The Spirit wanting to know exactly where these survivors are. And Ace kind of thinking about whether or not to slam that pallet down, and I think Spirit is making the right play here, going for a slug out in addition to a down there after. We hear that vault and a very clean down here by the Spirit.
This Spirit woke up and chose violence and or drank rogue energy. I can't tell the difference, but dear goodness, that is a start to a game.
Yeah, no, we do see the Kate get back up off the ground, but that means that there is at least 3 survivors off the gen here at the very start. That is huge for the Spirit, to say the least.
Absolutely, and Infectious Fright, probably a bit of a one-trick pony there for the beginning, but it did get the value they needed. They find the gen that's been worked on. They find the Kate as well. This is an incredible start for this killer. Looking around, Kate will get some distance. I think she actually makes it to a pallet here.
Yeah, Spirit being 110, just not to get enough distance there. We do see that phase walk and the Spirit trying to see if they are going to revault into it, but Spirit going to regain their power, going for the phase walk this time around. See if they can get the mind game, and they do get it, as Kate will end up going down.
Yeah, really, really strong play there from the Kate, trying to make their way, but just not able to fool the Spirit. Still no gen to be spoken for, as the Spirit's already racked up 6 points on 2 different survivors. They have 2 different survivors that they might want to tell out here. They did get the reset on the Ace there through Sloppy. There's the first generator going down, and now Spirit trying to figure out where their next target is. I was about to say, if that first hook resulted in a basement, that would have been brutal. But I honestly didn't even see the Infectious Fright. I was so tunnel vision on a survivor going down at Shack early.
Yeah, I was just surprised to see that snapshot, or I was trying to figure out what exactly it was, and then it's like, oh, that's Infectious Fright. That's something that we do not see often. Oh, yeah. Spirit seeing the Ada there, but opting to go back towards the hook. We do see scratch marks making the way. I don't think they are going to be able to interrupt in time, but we'll see if they go for that tunnel out here on the Kate.
I would imagine so. Power is pretty close, but again, with the built-in BT, Survivor is about the same speed as the Spirit. Both of them kind of like baiting there. There's the infectious fright. I'm so curious about the. What a fake!
We do see the vault that could have been a life potentially. Spirit feeling that too, and we see the ace coming in from behind as well. Honestly, things just going off left and right. Once again, though, that means that 3 survivors off of gens, only 1 gen complete so far.
That was incredibly well done by the Spirit. That was really cheeky too. And yeah, 1 gen finished so far. I don't know. And then, yeah, we see more progress on this generator. Unless there's a... Yeah, and this was Ada. I don't think we were going to see another gen pop for a little bit. I didn't see Serena back there, so it was just the ace. Oh,
well,
my goodness.
Especially as we do see that pop goes we
Yeah.
30% off the progression of that gen. I think Spirit is going to be satisfied with going for the base camp down here in basement.
It makes the most sense. Survivors have to chew through a lot of gen progress to keep things going. I think they might have even sensed the Survivor sneaking down here, but I don't see anything. Nothing on the hill gen. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is a prime position for Spirit to be in. They're just going to hold this door here, making it so that they have line of sight on both the window and the pallet. But I think we're going to be seeing the Kate here being sent back to the campfire via the entity. 1 gen popping off. I imagine we might see one more. 2 would be pushing it, though. Yeah,
you saw the one that had Pop Goes the Weasel. I imagine that one will get popped as well. No, not quite. Pop did enough of a number there, and they will secure second stage, or sorry, death stage. There's the Ada, though. This is a fresh survivor. Ace has been hooked once. If they hook Serena and kill the survivor, that's the win con, right? Because then there's no fresh outs.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is not having any fresh outs. However,
that'd be Ace stage,
there is... Yeah, that having no fresh outs, yes, but they need to get 3 kills with that as well. Where if they get a 1K9 hook spreading across all 4 survivors and a 1K on one of them.
We're about to actually be at 1 gen remaining. The gen that Ada got chased off of has not been completed. We saw the 3rd gen complete there, so they will be able to get probably 4 gens here. And now the question is there a 3 gen for this killer to lean on? And I don't know. It's kind of a loose 3 gen.
Yeah, and we're moving closer and closer to that win condition of the 1K9 hook here, as Ada will now get hooked. I mean, all they need to do now is hook Zarina twice and Ace twice, and that will secure the win here for Elysium here in set number 2, Trial 4.
But I say this start was such a snowball. But now, also worth noting, the survivors know this. This killer doesn't have any other perks. They know all the perks. They can count them. And we see both survivors spreading out on both the separate generators. Coming in for the unhook here, they will get it. That's the Zarina. Interesting throwing this survivor at the killer, but I guess it's... What do? Do you go for the tunnel? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think both are valid options at this point in time, but we see the 4th gen popping off. I mean, the tunnel now might be the answer as you want to get survivors out of the game, as these survivors are doing a fantastic job of rallying back, and Serena just going to be holding that corner. She knows better. She's just going to be waiting until you use your power and then kind of 50-50, but Spirit going for the fake, and it does not work out in the fake.
And they get the 50-50 again. Blind coming in. They need to go back to the generator. Survivors are going to rotate over. The 5th gen is going to be any moment now, even through Pop. Do you commit to this? I don't know if you can.
But it looks like they are. They're going to get the down here on this arena. They pause. I'm wondering if there's going to be an adrenaline here, but no, they get the pick. And this, I believe, is going to be the first hook here for Zarina. This is
so
going to be really close. They need to get Zarina to second stage and Ace hooked one more time. Actually, Ada too. I don't know. This is going to be a very close match.
They have Deli in the pocket still, and it's not on this generator. That means there's 2 separate gens being worked on. Is it the Shack gen? I'd be worried about Shack gen. Did they get a chance to check the progress of it?
I don't think they have. The Spirit convinced that the survivor's still nearby this generator waiting to jump on it. I mean, they have no reason to leave. The survivor's already off the hook. Serena is elsewhere. We do see scratch marks going into Shack and a pallet pre-drop to boot to give them a little bit of distance.
For a second, I thought that was the pre-drop to make sure that they finished the gen, and that would have been brutal.
I thought so too, to be honest.
Well, there's Ace. Ada's sneaking away. I imagine Survivor's taking a bit chill now. Maybe go and reset. See scratch marks back here.
And it looks like that is the Ada, but she's going to bring them as far away as possible from those gens. I'm not sure they can commit to this chase.
If there's an adrenaline, that'd be savage here, and it doesn't look like it's going to be in time, even if there was. So this is second hook coming in for this survivor. So they need to find the next survivor and camp them to death for the tie, right?
Okay, so if we're looking at it right now, they need to get a hook on Ace and Zarina for the 1K9. They'd find the Ada out of nowhere.
And the final gen pops.
This is going to be interesting now, because now they have to get a unhook.
Yeah, they do. I don't know if you can. The exit gates are too far away from those unhooks. You don't leave this. You stay here. Ace represents what? 2 stages? That's enough for the win.
Ace represents 2 stages.
That's a
so
3K10.
The biggest thing is the biggest thing is here is that they need to somehow get a unhook, Ace to or the unhooked survivor to not go down, and for them both to escape via the exit gate.
Well, okay, so if you're a survivor on hook has adrenaline, you've got a shot. You know there's no Noah, there's no way out. I would... Do you take the out and just say, okay, we lost this set, we'll take it in the next set, and then make your tiebreakers better? I think that's the case. Yeah, they're going to go for the exit gate there.
Yeah,
wow.
That looks to be it, and that is insane, to say the least. An amazing job by the Spirit, able to get the win here in trial number 4. We are going to set number 3, folks. And I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. With that being said, Blight going to be spawning on in and going to be off to the races here, as they are going to be diving straight through the middle and towards main building.
Indeed, we see this Corrupts laid out at main building. It looks like it's like, I think this is a pretty average gen setup. I don't think there's a 4-gen on the side. I think, no, it is a 4-gen. Never mind. Bite my tongue. And they find Ace as well, immediately spotting a survivor out here, not being able to get away. And after dropping a pallet, this is going to be a very quick chase instigated. That is a brutal strength, and this survivor is going to be...
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of worried for the Blight there that they're going to slide off the tree, but able to kind of recover that and get the hit is huge here, especially as Ace kind of boxed out into the corner here. Blight's trying to go for rush and will get the flick.
But to say, brutal coming in there, and that is going to be first hook coming in on the Ace here. Looking at their hook options, looks like they have one way in the back. This is no man's land hook. And they'll be first hook coming in on the Ace. Curious to see where the survivors spread out to. No progress on any of these 4 gens, it would seem, taking the time to break this down. And looking at that gen in the corner, where do you bother? Exactly, why would you leave this?
Like, I mean, you're not wrong. It's a 4-gen, you got a hook in the back corner. There just really is no reason, though. A survivor back here does end up getting the unhook. Looks like Blight will try and go for the BT hit on the Ace, if not get the hit itself, and actually just want to box the Ace into the back corner. Good idea, trying to block them in. There's the body block coming in, but not getting the traction they need. And this survivor is not long for this world. Rush back almost in a second. Not going to need it as the Bloodlust kicks in, and that'll be a second down coming in for Ace. So, I don't know if survivors see this. I'm assuming that this Ace does, because they are the obsession. Never mind. And doubly so with the decisive strike, and the answer is yes, they do know about Dying Light right now. But with the Ace being the obsession right now and potential the early tunnel out target, it could be that Dying Light gets no value whatsoever here, which we did talk about earlier in this match. But I say, do you see that beautiful little tech there where they force the slide off, and now Blight, I think they know that there's Dead Hard in hand too. You normally have it open. Getting the tip there, and the Ace will go down. Okay, I guess they might not put Dead Hard on the survivor, but usually Dead Hard and Decisive go together like PB&J, right? I mean, yeah, especially nowadays where you do get it per hook stage, it definitely make a lot of sense to hit the DS, then use the Dead Hard, get some distance. First gen popping off for these survivors, though, they are not going to be going down out of fight. So Ace now going to be 1 stage away from being sent back to Campfire via the Entity. Indeed, and survivors did manage to get back here trying to break into this 4-gen. However, pop goes the Weasel. Is going to put a bit of a damper on that one, as it looks like there was a survivor heading back into this area from the scratch marks in the choke point, but not going to commit. And Blight, I will be honest, I do not know how you break this 4-gen. You might be able to break one and make it a 3-gen, but it's going to be really close. They get a hit on the Claudette. Claudette will go back for a hook trade here, as the charges are going to have to recharge here. They will take it down as well, imagining maybe possibly getting Deli in hand, but Ace is not long for this. Well, they have a pallet. Oh, this is going to be so rough. And there's the... Is that BT or Dead Hard? Honestly, not entirely sure. That definitely felt a little bit longer than 10 seconds, so I'm going to say maybe a Dead Hard. But Ace going down in the locker there, and unless someone's able to come back for the Claudette, she's going to be put on the hook as well.
That she will, and I think the survivors, yeah, they want this generator complete, and I think it's firing all cylinders. They do break the 4-gen, now with 3-gen. I'm curious where the other survivor is. No pickup has occurred. There's the death hook on the ace. Now heading back towards where the Claudette was downed. See the crawling away towards the pallet here, but they're not going to be able to get under it in time, I think. Maybe they will.
Yeah, I mean, Blight's looking around, trying to see where that survivor is. No pallet stun, but a 4th gen popping off. Honestly, these survivors doing a fantastic job breaking into the 4th gen, splitting up gen pressure as well. Though they do have a 3-gen here now to contend with, and the question is, can you break a 3-gen against a Blight?
True. I will say, to their credit, I have seen a lot of Suffo pits end on a 4K2, which is really, really tough to beat. But they have managed to get past that scenario. They've gotten to the 4K1. 4K1 is, I would say, pretty average here. So they've gotten to that point. I don't know if he break this 5th gen. That said, Rebecca's being ballsy there. Oh, no. That's unfortunate.
And so is Zarina, apparently, who does end up taking a hit there. And that's going to make it very difficult to get this unhooked. Now, after the patch where hook grabs are no longer a thing, that's a different story, but that ain't the case here. Normally you're going to need 2 people who are healthy to get the unhook. We see this Arena playing very dangerously here at this pallet. Will get the pallet stun, but for what it's worth, the Blight has brutal strength and charges in hand, but they sense the bait and will go back towards the hook.
And again, I don't think you ever come for this unhook. I think that Rebecca's doing exactly what you do. You take the time on the generator, you try and get it done, and Blight, seeing this, is going to take some hits there. And it is worth noting, Dying Light's a dead perk at this point. Survivor that's Obsession is out of the game, so this is a Blast Mine coming in as well. Serena does finish the heal, but no unhook attempt has occurred yet.
Yeah, and looks like they're just going to continue to hang there for a while. We do see what could be a hit here on Rebecca. There's the unhook, though.
Oh, man, so close. Rebecca almost taking tag, and they do get the unhook after the second stage has occurred, and Blight not going to commit here. Wants to go back in. Yeah, if you commit to that gen, that gen goes down. So they are going to commit here to Survivor in the back. Did Claudette get to hide? No, she's out in no man's land. Unless this is a read, I can't tell. No, it's Claudette, but she misses.
Yeah, Blight just unable to land that hit there, and it looks like trying to bait out the pallet stun, and Blight now kind of put into an awkward position. Do you pick up and risk the stun, or do you walk away? And it looks like we do see Rebecca here once again. Blight trying to get the hit, but just not able to make it work. Rebecca does drop down, though, and does get hit.
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely well done, and I think that might have been a medkit heal on the Claudette, as that survivor was really close. They finished the heal. That hat, actually, that might even just be a wheel make it there from Zarina, and this will be first hook coming in on the Rebecca, but more importantly for this Blight, that is going to be a pop goes the weasel on a very, very progressed generator.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing here with 50% off the current progression of this gen. I don't know, things are starting to look more and more grim for these survivors.
Indeed, and we kind of saw that coming here, as again, no shade to these survivors. They broke the 4-gen, which is incredible. This is a really tight 3-gen for most killers, and for a killer that goes as fast as this killer does, yeah, I don't know what you can do. They do get the unhook and the heal on the Rebecca, though, so they are resetting, but as soon as you find this Claudette, I think it's game over.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I also think you're right about that will make it, as that was a pretty quick heal to say the least. But it looks like Blight's just kind of taking a peek at what the progress on these gens are, trying to keep the guards off of this generator and just allowing it to regress more and more, and just not much progression to be seen here. Though we do see scratch marks.
I think it's Zarina back here. Yeah, Zarina, the only survivor that's fresh here in the corner where no one wants to be. I don't know if they'll overthrow this pallet, honestly. Okay, watch me get caster curse here, but like, you need this pallet to get safely away, and yeah, Blight not going to commit to it, is going to go back to this generator instead. Survivors have good split pressure here, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a fantastic job keeping the Blight on their toes, making sure that they cannot overcommit to one chase lest they risk this last gen being completed.
Indeed, taking time to break this, as this was a little bit of a roadblock before. Serena probably going to drop this now. Yeah, they will take a hit through it, though. That is absolutely detrimental. And now Serena going to have to get his... they just stuck to the edge of the map here, didn't they? And Blight going to kick this gen. Where's Claudette? Where's Claudette in all this, though?
We have not seen the Claudette in a hot minute. Just the Rebecca.
There she is.
And even... Yeah, they're doubling up on the gen, it looks like.
Indeed, and I can't tell what progress that gen is at. Oh, that's like 80%, which means this Blight can't... I don't think you can leave this again as Blight.
It's going to
Not
be
for a bit.
risky, especially as Rebecca's here. We see Claudia on the opposite side. They're going to drop the pallet to ensure they don't get down and give them a pop towards the Weasel. But now the issue is, what's Serena doing all the while?
Exactly! And you're going to force the pick here. You have to take the pick. They're going to finish the gen.
You just stay. Just stay in the locker. Just
Oh
force
my
the
goodness.
pick.
Yeah, they're going to finish the last gen for this. And the question is, which one? I guess you have access to both of them. Do you get one survivor in position? Serena can probably go for the exit gate as they are fresh. That is Claudette dead, though. Rebecca running away from the generator. Is it bait for the Serena?
I mean, if they go for the other gen, Rebecca just jumps on this one. So I don't
Right.
think there's a winning scenario here. We don't know where
Yeah.
Serena is, and there it is. There's the gen, but no adrenaline on either survivor.
Indeed. So they go for the survivor. You slug them out. Have we seen Deli at all? Oh, when they go down over the pallets?
Yeah, unfortunate. I imagine the Blight's going to slug out here, going for the other exit gate. Let's see if the Survivors are able to stay on there for long enough. Does not look like it. Looks like they haven't even attempted. So the question now is, where is the Zarina? Oh, there's the Zarina.
Where's Serena? We found her. They are over here. The question is there a Deli still viable here? I imagine you'll hook Serena, wait 60 seconds for a second stage to occur, but is that enough time for, Rebecca to maybe get on the ground, hide, maybe deny, Here's the thing, you can maybe still deny a point. They represent one hook stage that could be denied, right?
Yes, I do believe that is the case, and yeah, this is going to be really interesting here because looks like they are going to walk away and
there's the Deli.
There's the Deli. I think they might just be going for the point denial here, knowing that they're not going to be able to get an out, whether that be via the hatch. Though, I'm trying to think how the survivors might be able to finagle a situation where maybe the survivor on the ground is able to escape via the hatch.
I don't think you can. You hook here, you get back over there. I think it's going to be the bleed out tech. I think you try and deny 1 point via bleed out. Which, that does matter. That's 23 to 10 instead of 24 to 10, which means, you reciprocate. If it's, 5 gens, that's not enough. You need to actually, deny a point somewhere.
Yeah, no. So going to be really interesting here. Like, going to be rushing around like a madman trying to find a survivor on the ground.
They need to go to the hatch.
2 minutes. Yeah, that is also another factor, right? Like, they could go to the hatch, but that also could play into the mind games, right?
True.
You don't, you force them to go to hatch, you waste more time as you wait. And so it's really interesting to kind of get into the mind of this killer what the right play is. But it's about 2 minutes on this bleed out timer.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit past the 2 minute mark, like you said, and not going to the hatch. Yeah, survivors might have decided against it and said wanting to force the bleed out. 1 point difference is still worthwhile, and there's the death. I do not know where this survivor is, though. Tell you what, though, when that minute timer's gone and we're a minute left, I am swapping over because I have to know.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. Play gonna go for the hatch close. We know that there is no adrenaline, and they're gonna be checking basement now to try and see if they might be able to find the survivor. That'd be a really strange play to go to basement but not be near the hatch. But stranger things have happened before.
Indeed, and hopefully they will again. Please bring back Stranger Things. I miss it so much. Looking around the edge of the map, that's what you're supposed to do here. Maybe seeing any lack of crows in the area. Not hearing anything just yet. We're approaching that minute timer. All right, I think that's a minute left. I want to see where this survivor is. Okay.
All right, let's take a look. It looks like they're over in Maine, over by the mining carts. We'll have to wait and see if the Blight is making their way. Let's switch back over and see where the Blight is looking right now.
Oh, they're so close. We saw them in the background there just a second ago.
Yeah,
they're looking around. They're on the right side of the map.
But the question is whether or not they're going to be going over towards Maine. Right now they're checking edge
they're
map.
Right past
they're thinking that's where the survivor is going to be. They're going through.
They hear him.
They may have heard him. They may have heard him.
I think they did. Oh my goodness, that was so close. Honestly, that was 20 seconds.
Yeah, that was very, very nearly disastrous for the Blight, but just being right within range to hear those grunts of pain on the ground, and that there will be the 4K here for the Blight here in trial number 5.
That was incredibly well played by survivors. Like, they did get the 4K, and to be fair, I think most of the time with these S tiers we expect 4K, but they actually finished the 5th gen. I did not think that was going to happen, and that's going to force a very uncomfortable scenario here for the survivors on Elysium, as they have to get there. And now I gotta ask, here's the real question for you. What happens in the tie? Who's got the overall blood point advantage, or sorry, the overall point advantage here?
We are going to be seeing Nightlight pilot the Blight against Elysium Survivor team, and they are going to get a 4K at 5 gens in order to secure victory here for trial number 6.
Indeed, because the tie condition here is not enough. The tiebreaker points go to Eternal. Elysium absolutely has to do 5 gens and get a point somewhere, or again, like 4 gens, tricky exit gate scenario with Hatch. Anything's on the line. Survivors are spreading out to the back end here, not able to get that click that they were wanting to, and they will bump and go into recharge. Noting, this is almost an identical setup here as far as the gens, just the Corrupt's on the opposite side.
Very, very similar to say the least, and looks like Blight is going to be checking out the gen over here in the jungle gem. You see scratch marks run away from it. These scratches leaving very early, but not early enough, as Nancy does take a hit there, making way over towards the pallet play, going for the mind game, and Nancy going to be playing it smart and safe, taking that out drop and a blind to boot.
Yeah, I would say, but they didn't get the blind early enough. They had to go back into it, and I think that cost them with the brutal strength coming in. That's gonna be first hook coming in here. No flashlight save, as that is the flashlight survivor first hook coming in. And are they gonna go for a basement hook? They are gonna go for the basement hook here. No baits to be found. And also, is that an agitation?
That is, in fact, an agitation, as we do see Nancy put on the back hook here. I did like Blight doing a quick check around the corner real quick, make sure there was no one sitting there trying to drop the pallet on them. But with that being said, we now know of Brutal Strength, Agitation, and Corrupt Invention. 4th perk still a little bit of an unknown, though I'm sure we'll see it shortly.
Indeed, no gens on the side being worked on. And here's the sad scenario for the survivors. Blight doesn't have to leave. Look at these gens. They are all within eyesight of this killer. You've got a basement hook right off the bat. Corrupt ended only a moment ago, and like, how much gen progress do you get? Even if you finish all 3, like 3 more gens right now, that's 90 seconds of gens apiece. There's 1, maybe 2 or 3 coming in here. This survivor's not leaving this basement.
No, I don't think this survivor's going to leave the basement. I think that's actually okay. I think that, realistically speaking, what has kind of ended up here is not exactly necessarily the best scenario for the Blight, as these were the corrupted gens. The survivors weren't working on gens over here. They're working over at main. The Blight bringing them here, yes, sets them up in a scenario where they had this 3 gens pretty much secured, but we saw survivors able to get that 5th gen from underneath the Blight in the last match. It's possible that we see it here again. And so Blight now securing that 2nd stage is actually going to be walking away and give these survivors a potential opportunity to go for that unhook. Good locker tech, though, from the Claudette, and we did see what looked to be the ace making their way over towards the basement.
Indeed, but they were more interested in the... Oh, but that means that Meg able to get the unhook here. Ace taking a hit. Claudette coming in, 4 body blocks. They need the help. There is the... For the people, though... And a pallet said they're gonna get time. Nancy's gonna get out of the basement, saying, "No, you can't break this pallet. Hit me instead."
Honestly, really cheeky play there, but it's Survivor just trying to, retain that resource and basically say, you either break this pallet now or you wait till later. That way, you're just not able to go for the tunnel out. And they are going to be trying their damnedest to get this down on the Nancy, but she's going to go on the hill. I imagine a balanced landing going to be bringing them up towards main.
It's not a balance, though. She's going to get... But it's a dead hard... She's a dead hard gamer. That means she has decisive, too.
Which, I mean, it's going to be running out shortly. The Nancy might need to take it down perfectly in order to hit it, but Blight going to whiff there on that bladed rush.
Indeed, they forced the slide off of the first collision. Again, we know that Nancy is a Blight main. They know how to break the killer's ankles, and doing that just so. There's the 3-gen broken, coming around the edge, trying to get this down. They get the pallet stun. No Pokus here. And Nancy getting into the
2-2 split.
They're going to commit to this chase. I don't know if you can commit anymore. You need the tunnel out, I understand, but they're not able to get it. Whiffing on the edge. Survivors are resetting as we speak.
I mean, Nancy's given them enough time to do just that. Nancy's finally going down, but honestly, the amount of time that she gave these survivors is unreal, and Blight now kind
Absolutely.
of concerned about another survivor maybe being nearby for the pallet stun.
It doesn't seem to be the case. I saw both survivors healing up there, so nobody's over there. But now, like you said, the generators are split. Like, the closest 1 to a 3 gen is in the middle here on the side. That has some progress on it. Blight rushing back to the other side, looking to see where survivors are. I imagine we might not see a lot of progress on these generators right now, just because, you know, they're resetting. But it's primed and ready.
Yeah, I mean, do you see the Ace here now going to be in chase? We see additional scratch marks kind of making towards this back corner here. Blight seeing that too, wondering whether or not to go there and kick the gen. You're going to see Pop goes Weasel regress this gen by 30% of its current progression, and Blight now going to be rushing over to try and down the Ace.
And they do get the down right before the pallet was available, and this will be first hook coming in the Ace. It's going to be really close to see, as we know all 4 perks now, if the survivor's able to finish the 4th, 5th gens and try and get an exit gate open. There is an exit gate right next to the hatch over here. And there is a little bit of progress on this generator. Blight looking around for any survivors in the area. We did see, like you said, scratch marks in the back of the map towards the 12. There's the unhook, though, not a deli.
Yeah, no deli here, which means it's probably still in the match unless these survivors got unlucky. We do see the Ace taking the BT hit, going to make their way over towards the shack, it looks like.
Indeed, taking the BT hit still, and they will get some distance. Is this Lucky Break? Am I just now recognizing Lucky Break?
Yeah, looks like it is. No scratch marks, no blood. However, the Blight hot on their trail, and looks like they're just going to bring him to edge map and just ensure that these survivors have as much time as possible. Keep in mind, there's 2 gens remaining. They still need to find a way to get these gens completed. I imagine one of the survivors on main side, but then you kind of have that maybe larger 3 gen quote unquote that you could argue with that mid gen and here over on Shack.
That's a good point, and the agitation could be getting a little bit of bonus here. I think you're right. I think that one on the main building side could pop at any moment. Is it also, do you think they might bait the killer come over there to try and pop it? I'm not really sure here, but no, they're not gonna. Oh my goodness, do you see the survivor? They went past the survivor!
Yeah, I saw that too, and the Blight did not. That's if we're going to be primed and ready to get that unhook on the Ace.
Yeah, and there's the gen on the main building side. I think Survivor may... Well, they haven't just yet. They're hiding out over here. Taking a second pass here. Might be hiding in the locker, I'm not sure. Worth noting, too, is that... So you still have this... We haven't seen Deli and Unbreakable, so unless the Nancy was the unfortunate Deli and Unbreakable player, I don't know. But she can't. She has Dead Hard. There's no way she's the Deli player.
I mean, it's not to the real possibility, but it's very unlikely. That being said, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get this unhooked. Nightlight going to be waiting this out for the grab. Once again, if during the update, that'd be a different story. But now they're going to bait it out. There's the hit. They didn't get the grab.
I guess they didn't expect it on the second try or actually to go for it, but they said, you know what, screw it. We're not going to win this game by taking no chances here, and that's exactly what Claudette does. Claudette now being chased into the corner here. The question is, was the generator nearest the middle being worked on after this? That's where the survivors are gone. They're going to leave him slugged on the ground. That is definitely the Deli player. There's no way there's not.
I mean, that would make the most sense here. Deliverance and potentially an Unbreakable too. We see what looks to be the Ace making their way over towards the back of main, but Blight cannot commit to that chase.
True. Not to mention, we don't know where Meg is. During this entire time, we don't know where she is, what gen she could be on. Blight checking the other side. We do see a lot of progress on that generator. Are they going for the hook or not? I cannot tell. Yeah, okay, there's the Meg. She's gonna get chased off of this generator, but Blight's sliding off and Meg's gonna get so much distance now. No Unbreakable from Claudette. They hit through the pallet. Now survivors have to be careful here as Ace unable to reset themselves. I don't know where the Claudette is. Ace able to get the reset, so probably a med kit left in the back for them. Oh, but they get tagged through the window. Who's the Deli player? Did Nancy die? Was Nancy the Deli?
It's starting to look like it might have been, because we don't see Unbreakable. We don't know where the Ace is either, and if they're on the opposite side of the map from the down Claudette, that could be quite unfortunate. They're not going to be able to do much, especially if Pop Goes Weasel regressing that gen by 30%. So unless, I mean, there's a strange possibility that
What if Claudette bleeds out, though?
Ooh.
Claudette's nowhere in that area.
Yeah, that is a very real possibility. They do bleed out here. For looking at this real quick, Claudette is fresh, so that is a significant amount of points lost.
That's 6 points lost. That's enough, I think.
Blight will have to pick them up. If they bleed out, that is going to result in a loss here. for Eternal.
And Ace is like no one knows where they are. This survivor has 2 minutes on the about a minute, maybe 15, maybe minute 20 on the clock before they go to death stage. But that means that Blight has very little time. Not to mention that means if you get Claudette, what is it? If you get Claudette off the hook, you still have time to slug and get. I don't know. That's actually kind of scary. There's the deli. They did have deli.
That was on the Meg, but Claudette's still the major issue. We do
There
see
she is.
blood over here. Yeah, so the Blight knows where she is at the very least. No real progress on these gens from Ace, it would seem. So Ace just unable to really do much of anything. It looks like, yeah, they're going to make the right choice here, get the pick. But just under 2 minutes left on that bleed out timer. That might still prove relevant. If
True,
they
with the
do
1
end
point
up-
difference. Yeah, the
Yeah,
1 point difference.
it could
they
be the
need.
1 point difference if they do get slugged out after this first hook.
The question is now, are the survivors banging out that last generator? We saw the deli. Did Ace come and join the Meg for the generator, or are they splitting?
I mean,
This
both
is
those
so
gens
tense.
are dead, so it has to be this one gen that they're focusing on, but can they even risk doing that? I mean, unless the Survivor's primed and ready like the Claudette was to get that unhook, I'm just not sure, especially if Pop Goes Weasel coming in again for another 30%. We see the Scratch Marks attempting to go for the unhook, but Blight is going to attempt to interrupt and will get the hit, I think.
Yeah, they will get the hit. This will be a hook trade, but oh, body blocks coming in. Ace will go down, and it looks like. Yeah, Claudette has renewal here. Are they wasting time for the... There's the BT hit. Are they wasting time for the generator? We don't see Meg on the gen. That's going to be death hook for this survivor. But like you said, now if this survivor bleeds out, they still need a generator done because it's not enough. It's only 1 point off.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's progress over here. There's the... Oh, no. There's the Meg. And with Claudette being injured still, I don't know how they can hide. You have an exit gate over here. You have Hatch over here. Here's Basement coming in. I guess, is this enough time to finish the generator even? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I think Pop Goes Weasel 30% off the gen just was a little bit too much for these survivors to come back from. I think, honestly, I think this is going to end up in the hands of Eternal.
It's very close here. There's nobody on this generator. Claudette's gonna be hanging out on the edge of the map. There's no way she could have made it back to the shack side for the hatch play. Yeah, Blight's gonna go back and make sure, but I think the exit gates are still in favor of the Blight here just because they can rush back and forth. They check this one first.
Yeah, and even if Claudette were to escape through the exit gates at this point in time, that'd only be 2
That would be
points. That would be enough. It would be really close, but yeah, I think that would be enough.
It would be really, really close. Blight checking around, maybe seeing if Claudette thinking that the hatch was available. We heard the... There's no way she doesn't come back. There's no way she comes back here. Yeah, they're going to close it. Rushes are back. There's the exit gate. You can't really... but it's Blight.
I mean, the biggest thing is line of sight here. If they can get line of sight, I don't know if they got that. I don't know if they can actually see the red light there.
I think they could by a sliver, possibly. I would be ballsy to try otherwise.
I mean, I think, honestly, you have nothing to lose.
Oh,
and sure enough, there it is. There's red lights, but it's not enough.
So close. Yeah, they tried. They tried so hard. I don't know if they went for the exit gate tech or not. I guess you couldn't risk potentially coming over here and... Yeah, that's not going to be enough. And there's the 4K at 1 gen remaining for Eternal.
Yeah, honestly,
So
really great showing here by both the survivors and the killer. Honestly, Nightlight just rallying back in the end there in the face of adversity as things were looking quite grim, but bring it back at the very end. So GG, well played to both teams, and congratulations to Eternal being our Season 7 champions of the Fog.